Good evening.
Evening.
How are you doing? Welcome to Last Bell Boxing. How's it going, Ray?
Not too bad.
So tonight we're going to be talking about the card that's just been on Lewis Ritson and Ponce. Now I know you've not seen the full card, have you, Ray? So we'll
No, I haven't. Had a family day. It's a special day for my girlfriend, so spent it with her.
Was it birthday today? Was it?
Yeah. So had a big family day. So I'll catch up on the rest of it tomorrow. I saw the last 3 fights.
Great stuff. Well, we'll run through. So you saw from Babic then?
Yeah. So from Babic, yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll run through the other undercard quite quickly then. So the first card live on Sky was Hunter.
Oh, it was Hunter, right?
Yeah. Very raw, isn't she? But you can see I can see the talent. I can see the talent there. I know she had some pretty good sparring. I think that's the way she's gonna pick up a game. Yeah. You know, she had Savannah Marshall was sparring with her. Did you know that?
Yeah. Savannah Marshall and April Hunter are personally very good friends.
Right.
When April Hunter fought in Barcelona and she got that win on points, Savannah Marshall went out of her. And I think they kind of have a foot in each other's camps. They help and support each other. But I think
that way. I know Savannah was on. I don't know whether you saw it. She was on earlier on in the card, commenting, and she got an April Hunter T-shirt on.
Yeah, I saw that because they were asking about Clarissa Shields, weren't they? And she was teasing, saying, "Oh well, by the time I fight her, she might have had a spell in football or tennis," which I thought was quite funny because I can probably see that happening with Clarissa Shields. She's doing anything.
Well, I think she's going to do anything to avoid Savannah Marshall, if we're quite honest.
Yeah, she is. But April Hunter, I like her. I think she's as raw as she is. She probably hasn't had. You're going to get that with a lot of female fighters from up here. They haven't had that much as amateur experiences.
Yeah,
there's a lot of the ones from down south. But give her time, So I don't know how the result went. Obviously, you can fill us in, but she's got promise. She's got promise.
Very passionate, mate. 4 rounds, wasn't it? Very passionate.
Yeah.
She was trying her hardest to get the gal out of there. But it's one of them, innit? I think she enjoyed the occasion. She loved the fact that she was in front of her own crowd. And she even started singing a Toon Army song and got the crowd in a post-fight interview. The crowd loved it. Then we got the S-Jam fighter next, I believe.
Salomon Jacobs.
Yes. He looks pretty sharp, mate. Looks pretty good. There's still a lot of learning to do there, though, I think.
Yeah, he's a former GB kid, isn't he?
Say again, sorry.
He's a former GB kid.
Yeah. He's very fit, proper in shape, and I think he's going to be one of these fighters that don't balloon up as well. Looks like he's taking it really seriously. And then we have a friend of the show at his debut.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks absolutely magic, mate. Real quality. Everything bang on the money. And this lad he was in with didn't know what was going on. Honestly, mate, he didn't know what was going on. Pattinson had him all ends up.
Yeah. I mean, it's a first fight. You can't get you can't get too carried away. And you know me, I've said it before. I tend to judge prospects after about 10 fights because that's probably on average when they get into the first meaningful fight.
Yeah.
But because I've seen Cyrus, and I see it with people that I've seen from the amateur days, because I've seen Cyrus from literally day one, in the Berkeley days, and I don't know Dave has. When you're watching a very, very gifted amateur boxer, and I like Scott Fitzgerald. He's no mug, and he was ferocious down at 69 as an amateur, and Patterson just took Fitzgerald by surprise, and I just thought if you could do that to him, what can this kid do in the pros?
Well,
he's been unlucky because welterweight's always been a good division. Team GB.
You wouldn't have known it was his first fight, right?
Yeah, that experience, that composure. Yeah. I like him.
By the sounds of it, I don't think he wants gimme fights. You know, he's 27?
Yeah.
So he's coming into the pro game quite late, which isn't a bad thing because of the amount of experience he's got in the amateurs. What's done him the world of good is he was meant to have this fight a year ago, just before lockdown. Wasn't it? Do you remember him saying when he came on the show?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And he obviously got pushed back because of lockdown, and I think that's done him the world of good because it's meant he can go and get some sparring with pro fighters. He can learn a little bit more about the pro game, get a little bit stronger maybe. And it's given him a year really to figure things out, and he's coming running, mate. Honestly, great fight.
I mean, I think you've hit the nail on the head. That time out through no fault of his own through COVID is given that time to adjust to the pros even better than what he could naturally do anyway. And he's taking advantage of staying in Team GB to get the sparring there as well. So he's had the best of both worlds, and I think he'll do really well. I generally think he's got a very bright future.
He's got all the tools, mate.
Yeah, he has. Absolutely.
Mike's asked a question in the chat bar on the side.
Right. So is he on about Solomon Davis, or was he on about Cyrus?
He's about Cyrus Pattinson, Mike.
Yeah, I think he'll probably on about Cyrus.
We had Cyrus on the show briefly a week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Check out our interview with Cyrus on the show.
He was mentioning that he'd been picked up and he was going to be on this card. He looks outstanding, Mike. If you haven't seen the fight, go back and watch it, pal. Imran has also jumped in. Lewis Ritson tonight got battered, but what the ref did was out of order completely. Ritson's father was trying to protect his son. I know me and you have had a little bit of a spat about this, haven't we, Ray? On
yeah, we'll come on to that when we're covering Lewis Ritson.
What's the main fight? Imran, if you wanna jump on, mate, and have you say about this, because you're saying very similar to me on this, and Ray's saying maybe slightly differently. So if you want to jump on, mate, you're more than welcome. So Babic, we said this on Thursday night. I said this on Thursday night that I don't rate him, and I still don't rate him after that. He's basically, Ray, is a bully, and he was fighting a cruiserweight at best, quite a lot smaller than him. Didn't have enough weight on him to keep him off.
Yeah.
He was landing some good shots though, the kid. If it had been a little bit heavier, we'd have had a different result in that fight because Babic was getting clipped. He's way too open, mate. I know he's raw and that's his style. He's a come forward fighter, but he's going to get found out. When he moves up another level or two, the British fighters will beat him, mate. He won't get any further than that.
Yeah. I kind of see him as a foreign Dave Allen. I think he's there to entertain in the sense that he fills undercards. I don't really see him much more than that. I'm not a massive Fabio Wardley fan, but I think Fabio Wardley would beat him.
Oh yeah, all day long.
And that says it for me.
Yeah, it's one of them, innit? I think you're right. He's there to entertain people. I mean, I don't know what was going on with his gladiator mask at the start, though.
Yeah, he's been wearing that all week. Yeah. I mean, I get why people like him because he's exciting. He comes forward, but even look at him, I don't think Babic is a big heavyweight myself.
No, he's not.
To be honest,
What
So I think if you
is
put him in, if
50
you get,
stone or something?
yeah. I mean, Wilder gets away with it because Wilder is a real genuine puncher.
And he's a tall lad as well.
Yeah. Well, Babbage doesn't have those two qualities.
No.
So I think if you put him in against a genuine heavyweight themselves, who don't need tremendous power, they're going to give Babbage all sorts of trouble because this lad was hitting Babbage at will, and Babbage threw everything, just overpowered him. Yeah,
it just wasn't strong enough.
Yeah. So I mean, good luck to him, but I don't see him going much further.
You take over on the Ward fight, mate, because I had to pop out, so I missed the mid rounds.
Yeah, Thomas Patrick Ward. He great fighter, great boxer. Has no power whatsoever. He's only got 4 knockouts in his 28 or so wins. But he looked very comfortable in there. Yeah, okay. He was knocked down in the 5th round. But if anything, that was not a knockdown. What happened was he got hit on the glove as he was going backwards. His feet tangled. He fell down.
Yeah.
It was a punch, even though it landed on he caught on the glove. He went down. You had to give it as a knockdown.
Shouldn't count it as a 10-8 though.
Sorry?
It shouldn't be counted as a 10-8. There needs to be
I don't know about you, but if a fighter gets knocked down like that, and he goes on to win the rest of the round, which you've got a bit of debate. I mean, I still scored a 10-8 to his opponent.
That's the law. That's the rule.
Yeah. But there's an argument. I know people that'll score it a 9-9. You know, but I always score it, even if someone dominates the round, but they get knocked down. I just score it 10-8 to the opponent.
Yeah, because that's
that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. But aside from that, he won every minute of every other round. His footwork's tremendous, you know. His footwork's tremendous. Yeah, he did get clipped a couple of times, but he takes a good shot. He takes a really good shot.
My only problem with him, Ray, is he don't pop.
Yeah, and it's noticeable as well.
Yeah.
And the other thing for me is it's becoming apparent now he's caught between the two weights. He needs to decide whether he drops down to super bantamweight or he stays at featherweight.
I think if he can make super bantam, he's got to go back down.
Yeah. Because
when it comes to the bigger names in that division, he's just going to get overrun because they'll walk through him. Yeah, they will. That's my worry with him. I mean, he's far too good for anyone domestically. Yeah.
And I think he could win a European, but that's going to be the problem for our world level. And there's no shame in that. I think they were trying to give examples of fighters. You know, we've had Barry Jones, Paulie Malignaggi, who have went on to win world titles and not being the greatest of punchers. But for me, he kind of reminds me of a bit like a fighter I used to watch a lot of when I was younger, called Ian Napper.
Right.
Ian Napper. He was down at like the flyweights. He couldn't punch, but he was so hard to hit. He was so cute defensively, sensitive, distance and timing was unbelievable. He was skillful. Yeah. I get that a little bit with Ward. Ward's a bit more aggressive than what Ian Napper was. But because he can't punch, it kind of negates that. But he lands at will on his opponents. He was throwing some lovely left hooks on the inside. But his footwork's unbelievable. You know, he'll go with a jab, to work on the body, and then he does this thing with his right foot where he just pivots on his back foot and he spins off to his left. He just does it effortlessly.
Yeah.
You could really watch him all day. But it's just his power's not gonna. His lack of powers is his problem. But he's as skillful as the day is long. But yeah, like I said again, it's just his lack of power for me.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, mate. He's definitely talented, though.
Yeah, without a doubt. He comes from good stock. His brother Martin Moore was a decent fighter, and And I think I agree with you. Get him down to super bantamweight because he's highly ranked there. The potential opponents at world level won't necessarily carry too much damage if he avoids, one or two there, and just see where he goes and where he gets, where he ends up. But best of luck with him. I love watching him. He's a great fighter, and he's definitely one of my favorite British fighters because of his skill set.
Yeah. There's no arguing that from me there, mate. Right, let's move on to Ritson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know on Thursday on our live show that we do at 9:00, by the way, for anyone interested, come on and have your say on a Thursday. I know you were throwing a few doubts in as to how good this Ponce was going to be.
Yeah,
it was rumours that he was going to be a fairly heavy hitter. Great with the body shots. You hit it. Obviously, you hit the nail on the head there, didn't you?
Yeah. I had a look at him, and I could see. All right, Reese. All right, Imran.
How about you?
Yeah, not too bad. I could see that he did have some power. I know Carl, our good pal, said he didn't think he was too much of a puncher. I thought I saw a bit of him and I thought this kid, he does like the standing fight, which is good because Lewis Ritson likes somebody who stands in front of him. But he did look as though he can bang and he liked his body shots. And I know Lewis likes giving body shots but doesn't like receiving them. The other thing as well is when I saw him in the ring, he looked like a South American version of Tommy Hearns. You know, his body frame, sort of like skinny legs, long skinny arms, wide back. I just thought, this could be. But then again, you know, Lewis, when somebody comes to fight Lewis, it brings out the best in him. But I had my doubts, and unfortunately, they came to light.
Imran, what do you think about Lewis Ritson tonight? Where do you think he goes from here?
I don't know. I've actually just recorded a video about it. I think it's a difficult one. I don't know whether he'll retire. I don't know where he goes. Where does he go? He's just lost to a guy that's fringe world level. I actually think Jeremy Ponce was quite good. I said to you on the show prior to the fight that you get guys like this that come over that undefeated, got 17 knockouts, and you don't really know how good they are, and they're kind of dangerous because they haven't really fought anybody, so you don't really know what level they're at. But he absolutely obliterated Lewis Ritson. It wasn't a close fight. He battered him really from round one to the end. Lewis Ritson wasn't able to keep him off. I actually said it reminded me a little bit of like the relentless pressure of Maidana just coming forward all night. He didn't have the punching power of Maidana, but it was just a gruesome beatdown. The stoppage at the end was bizarre. I don't know what went there. But in terms of where Lewis Ritson goes, I wouldn't be surprised if he calls it a day. Where he goes from here, where would he go? What do you?
Andy, Imran's asking you.
Sorry, mate, I didn't hear what you cut out.
Where do you think he goes? Because obviously you asked Imran.
Honestly, I think he might quit.
Yeah,
seriously, you two think that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Where does he go though, Ray? Where does he go? He's clearly, and I like Lewis Ritson a lot. When he was demolishing the British level, I thought we had a real world beater. Yeah. But he's moved up weight and he just doesn't carry the same authority.
But my argument there is he beat Robbie Davis Jr. fair and square.
Yep.
Robbie Davis Jr. still, obviously he's lost again since then, but then he could still come back. I just think he lost to the better man. I just genuinely think he lost. He lost to.
But the last two fights have not been great either, Ray, have they?
No.
You know,
No,
he lost the European, the tilt at the European title, and the last fight was very controversial points wise.
Yeah, he lost that one.
Yeah, he lost the Vasquez fight, but I think he lost.
His strength's always been that he puts it on fighters, runs them down, walks them down, breaks them up, and then stops them late on. He can't do that at this weight. He's getting pushed back himself.
Yeah.
You know, and when he comes up against a fighter that boxes on the outside, he kind of seems to kind of struggle and ends up just following him around the ring. I mean,
he can't deal with boxers. He can't deal with boxers. Yeah.
I don't want to beat him down because, like I say, when he was taking British level fighters apart at the lower weight, he looked tremendous. I just feel if he can't make that weight, then he can't make that weight. But I just feel like he just doesn't carry enough power, and he's not strong enough at this weight to command any authority in the ring.
Yeah, because he looked strong against Davis Jr., who was a lot physically bigger. I just think he was up against somebody where his physicality was completely negated.
Yeah. Yes, I see where you're coming from.
He got beat.
What's your views on it as well?
Reese?
I think he should call it a day. Personally, I don't think he's got any more to give at that weight class. He obviously can't compete in that weight class, clearly. Like Imran said, the bloke he just beat is, who is it?
Say that last bit again.
The bloke he's just beat.
Yeah.
Like, he's not the best, is it? Let's face it. So what does he do? What does he do from now? I mean, he can't compete at the weight class, I don't think.
I don't know. I mean, to call Ponce not the best is probably a little bit harsh as well. In the fact that like he's obviously highly ranked in the IBF, we just don't know about him. So unless he's saying he's not one of the elite, then fair enough. But then we've always said that Ritson won this fight. Even if he had stopped him in 3 or 4 rounds, we would have still said the same. I would have still said the same. He ain't beating any of the elite fighters at 10 stone. Just the difference for me is, we know Ritson doesn't do well against boxers because he doesn't move his head, doesn't move his feet quick enough. But if you come forward against Ritson, he's got a much better chance. He's just against someone who was much bigger than him, much physically stronger than him, and caught him with those body shots that he doesn't like.
Ray, he got his own guy fought a fight. Like,
sorry, man, say that again, mate. I'm sure someone's getting feedback here. I was struggling there.
Ritson got beat at his own game.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
he got beat at his own. So he likes a style like Jeremy Ponce that comes forward and likes to have a fight. He doesn't like to box and keep it on the outside. He likes to have a tear up. But this kid beat him at his own game, right? He beat Lewis Ritson. I hear what you're saying about him being bigger and stronger, but as Andy pointed out, that at 140 pounds, the guys are going to be bigger and stronger than him because they're big. Because he hasn't got that. At 135, Lewis Ritson was bigger than everybody. At 140, he's not bigger. They're bigger than him, or they're about the same size. So he's not able to bully them. They're bullying him. They're not worried about his power. This guy was really relentless. Ritson hit him with everything, and the punches were bouncing off his chin, and he didn't really care. Wasn't affected. Whenever Jeremy Ponce was hitting Ritson, it was having a big. You could tell it on his face. The body language wasn't great with big body getting hit with body. First round he could have been stopped. He was. I don't think against the top old level guys he's going to be able to cut it at that.
Yeah, I mean, we said that on Thursday. I just kind of think sometimes he can get to, you can get the European level. I mean, he's fallen short at the eliminator level. I just don't think it's a case of like, it's not like he lost to a domestic level fighter where you think, where else can he go? You know, he lost in the world title eliminator. It's, you know, it's not for me. You're saying somebody should retire if they've been badly stopped on a couple of occasions. They've had a couple of bad knockouts. Or they've lost at domestic level, and you think, well, you can't get past domestic level.
I'm not saying he should retire, Ray. What I'm saying, I don't know where he goes from here. I don't know who is he going. Where does he go? Who does he fight? What level does he come back at? Go back to domestic? Who does he?
I think he goes back to European, man, mate. I think he goes to European, and he goes again from there.
Yeah. If he has the desire, he may not want to. He might not want to go on. He may think, I'm not quite world level. I don't go on. He may decide to call it a day. Like, you know, Andy said, he may call it a day. He may not want to go on. He may not be happy competing at European level.
I'd like to see him try and make his previous weight. I mean, you're from that area, Ray. Do you know why he moved up? Was he struggling at that weight?
Yeah, he couldn't make the weight. I mean, he was like, there was stories where he just, you know, he just wasn't eating for the last week of the fight. Wasn't eating at all.
That's obviously not for him, is it?
Yeah. He just couldn't. I mean, when you see him walking around the city now, he looks like physically big. I mean, you got to remember when he was an amateur, he was boxing at light middleweight as an amateur.
Right.
So that just tells you how big he is.
Yeah.
I mean, me and him are about the same height, 5'10", and he's quite a big lad. I mean, he's not far from where my parents kind of live, so you see him a bit, and he is physically big. It did take, I know when Billy Nelson had him, Billy Nelson kept him at his fighting weight.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Even out of camp, and I'm not gonna, obviously I'm not a coach, but I can't see how that's healthy for a fighter. Anyway, he did that with Lewis Ritson. Lewis Ritson didn't get many knockouts. Lewis Ritson came back here. He went to his natural weight after camp, and then boiled back down to lightweight. And that's when you start to see the knockouts. That's when you started to see the Ritson that everyone kind of knew. You see, I think what's happened is he's moved up after a loss. And when you do that, people say, oh, you're blaming the defeat on the weight. But I actually think because Lewis's style isn't much different from being an amateur, I just don't think he can handle boxers. I think Lewis is great if you stand there and, you're fighting a phone box.
I get that, mate. But that's the fight he got tonight. And I don't know how you finished ending your scoring, but I only gave him 2 rounds.
Yeah, I gave him 2 rounds. I give him round 2 and round 4.
Yeah, same.
And that was it. I just thought
he's maybe something will come out. Maybe the camp wasn't great, but he looked a little bit like he got no energy. There was times in the fight when Ponce wasn't throwing and Ritson could have, and he didn't. So I don't quite know what was happening there.
Well, I'll ask Ritson. And remember, for me, it looks as though you have a fight beaten out of him. When you're in the ring and somebody's physically stronger than you, you are a bit reluctant to throw because you think you throw, you get hit hard, you get hit often. I just think he in there, he was realizing this guy's physically, like what Imran was saying, he's doing to me what I was doing to people at lightweight. And I just think he didn't want. You've heard the expression, you don't hook with a hooker. And I just thought he just probably thought, well, because Ritson's got a pretty good jab himself, and I just thought, well, Ritson should have just been on that jab. I know we can see in the comments Carl's coming out with, and these are easy enough comments to say now. Oh, he's not world class at any weight, but like what you were saying before, Andy, being honest, when he was at lightweight, people were starting to think this kid's genuine. The other comment about Robbie Davis Jr.
I mean, We had this debate on Thursday, and Cole disagreed with me about it on Thursday. That he thinks he should have had more.
But he shouldn't have done, because
but when you're knocking out all the domestic competition, how do you have more learning fights?
Exactly. There's only one person who's won the British title quicker than him, and that's Ryan Rhodes.
Yeah, I know.
So when you're saying people like Davis Jr. aren't a limited door, yeah, it's easy to say that now, but at the time he was the British and European champion.
Yeah.
So no one was saying that at the time. It's easy to say that two fights later, but at the time, no one was saying that. I just think at the end of the day, yeah, he was beating at his own game. But he was overpowered there, and I just think that's why he wasn't throwing. But,
how many times though in this lockdown period have we seen South Americans or Central Americans come over? And
don't get me on that. I'll let him run and risk on that one.
How long has he been fighting at this weight class?
Well, since he lost against Patera, so that would have been
4 fights.
What, at 140?
I was going to say, is it not the case then that maybe he's just not used to the weight class? Maybe he just needs to.
I think he's been there, because you got to remember he's had a year out as well, hasn't he? So he had all 2020 when he had the Vasquez fight. So before then he had the Robbie Davis fight in.
He's had plenty of time to get used to the weight.
Yeah, I think he's had more. I would say he's had about 3 years at the weight.
So it ain't the weight.
That's quite a while, but yeah, about your point. And I mean, I don't know what Imran makes of it, because we have seen a lot of our lads matched against these Central Americans and South Americans, and they're coming up short.
To me, just before Imran comes in there, I know Matchroom trying and get the best opponents possible, and I really appreciate that they do that. But sometimes they look at somebody's record and you think, yeah, he's going to be tough, but our kid will deal with him reasonably well. And records for these South American fighters, you get to see them because all of their fights have been in South America, where they're all tough. And the likelihood is, if they've had, say, 35 fights, they've lost 6. Those 6 are probably really close fights. And so the record probably deceives a little bit. And they come in over here and they're doing a number on everyone. It doesn't look great for matchmaking, really.
Well, the reason why I want to bring him into this is because he's like me. He came into, well, he's obviously into boxing already, but Amir Khan spotted his interest in boxing. Same with me. Now, we had this problem with Amir Khan when they brought over Bradis Prescott, and everyone was like, do you see what I mean? They brought over Bradis Prescott, and everyone was like, well, he should really walk through. Then you had other people saying, we don't know anything about Bradis Prescott, and we all know what happened.
Yeah.
And it's been the same, and this is why I like Eddie Hearn, because he's got the balls to do this, whereas Frank Warren wouldn't do this. And this is why Frank Warren shows aren't at the
point. And like I say, that's why Matchroom have always had the better cards, because the fights are always good and they're always close.
Yeah. But my question is
we've had a lot this year where there's not been a crowd, so the home fighter's not got a bit of backing to give them that second wind.
Yeah.
They're falling a bit flat before they're coming out, and that seems to be enough. Go on,
my question is, considering there's been quite a few of them, are we overhyping our lads? Are we just thinking because they've been saying their Matchroom?
Well, no, you can't say that for a number of them, really. You can't say that for Josh Warrington. He's taken every challenge on that's been put in front of him and dealt with them. I mean, I don't know about you, but I couldn't see him beating Cole Frampton. He beat Cole Frampton. I thought he'd struggle with Kid Galahad. Still beat Kid Galahad. He's dealt with everyone that's been put in front of him. But when he come up against what was, I can't remember his name now. Yes. When he came up against him, it was like it was a completely different fighter.
What's your views on that, Imran? Whether do you think our boys are overhyped, or do you think like Andy, it's something else?
I wouldn't say Warrington's overhyped. Warrington, like I said, I didn't expect him to beat Lee Selby. He beat Lee Selby.
Not necessarily Warrington per se, but just as in general, because all of them seem to be getting it. Yeah.
Fighters like Ritson and some of the others that have lost. That Fowler as well. Fowler took a loss against. That was a while ago against Fitzgerald. A little bit. Obviously, Eddie Hearn's really a really good promoter, right? He's a really good promoter. He likes to promote his fighters. He does a good job. But in terms of Ritson, do I think he's overhyped? I don't think I agree with Carl. I don't think I don't world level. He's not going to beat any of the world level guys. In my opinion, from what I've seen, he fought Patera at European level, and Patera at 135 outboxed him, beat him quite comfortably. He fought Miguel Vasquez. I lost that fight quite comfortably. It wasn't close for me. And then today he's fought another fringe world level guy, and he's been beat soundly. So I think we know his level. He's not quite. He's not at that even fringe world level. Those guys. It doesn't matter whether they have a pair up with him. It doesn't matter whether they have a boxing match with him. Guys at fringe world level will beat Lewis Ritson from what we've seen so far, and he made huge changes to his game, huge improvements. I don't think he's going to cut it out. Well, I don't cut it at world level. There's no shame in that because, like I said, many guys don't reach that kind of level. In terms of what you said about his Prescott coming up for beating Amir Khan, yeah. At the end of the day, they brought a guy. He was Colombian, wasn't he, Prescott? They brought him, and he was undefeated at that time. 19 fights, 18 knockouts. He knocked out Amir Khan, and that was like at the time one of the biggest upsets in British boxing. People were like, whoa! I remember it was a shock at the time. Nobody was expecting him to win that. Brady's Prescott to cause that upset. They were expecting Amir Khan to just destroy him. But again, like Amir was banned from that. Obviously, go on a champion, unified champion. But like I said, I don't really think Ritson has that ability. I think he has the skill set to rebound from this loss. It's going to be difficult. So that's why I agree with Andy that I don't really know where he goes. Like I know what you're saying about going back down to European level, but again, what's his ambition? I don't know what he thinks. Is he all right operating at European level? Because that even that level, he got beat at that level against Patera, didn't he? Patera was the European champion, wasn't he?
European level. Yeah. Yes.
Beat by him quite soundly. I watched that fight, and he was quite soundly beat. Really, he was out boxing.
Yeah, I was actually there. Yeah.
So, to be honest with you, I don't know where he goes because I don't know who pointed it out that he should go back down to one. Was it Andy that said he could go back down?
Yeah.
But look at that way, and look at the killer division. Look how good the fighters are. That's even worse. They're even better. You got guys like Lopez, Cambosos. You got Ryan Garcia, you got Devin Haney, you got Javante Davis floating, you got Shakur Stevenson potentially going to move up. Where's he? He's not going to beat. Let's be real, not those guys. Even if he could make the weight, those guys. So it depends on. I don't know. I don't know what his ambition is. I don't know where he wants to go. I don't know what he wants from the sport. But as of right now, from what I've seen, and I don't know how is he 30? Is he 30 years of age?
No, he's 27, mate.
Right, so he's fairly young. He's still got time. He's not that old. And the other thing I wanted to mention, Ray, that fight that he had with Jeremy Hunt, that's damaging for your health. That was a very, very bad beatdown. That was he took a slacking in there. That was a really bad beatdown. So, he's got to, if he's fighting guys at that level and he's gonna get beat down like that, it's not good for your health as well. He doesn't look like he's able to compete. It wasn't a fight where it was back and forth. For me, it was one-way traffic, beat down. It wasn't a competitive fight. I felt like he just beat him down, and he beat him into submission. I agree with you. He beat him down and beat him into submission. Ritson's very tough, very tough. He's got one hell of a chin, iron chin. He took some bad punishment in there. some serious punishment, but he took it, and he just got beat into submission. And when they threw, I think the corner should have stopped it the round before. When they were saying give him 1 round, they shouldn't have let him go out. He was badly beat down in that fight. So yeah, I don't know. I just think that fight was damaging for your health. If I'm honest with you, I don't think that was a great fight for his health. So yeah, I don't know where he goes. I kind of agree with Andy. I'm not saying he should retire, but I don't know where he goes from here. To be honest with you.
I know we've had a few comments in there about Ritson not being good, Ritson being garbage, and obviously I've mentioned, and Andy's putting a really good point about. Well, hang on, some of the matchroom fighters, perhaps you can call them, but you've also had people like Josh Warrington, who it could have just been an off night. I mean, what's your thoughts on it? Looking at it that way, Rhys?
Say again, mate.
So when we've had the likes of some of our matchroom fighters have had been the wrong side of decisions or even stopped by these South American, Central American fighters. I've kind of said, well, most of them have been. There's probably an argument to say, are we overrating or expecting too much from some of our kids? But then Andy's pointed out, but Josh Warrington is an example where he beat everyone comfortably and he did really well. So I just want to know what your thoughts were when you're looking at the bigger picture.
I wouldn't say we're overhyping our lads, not by a long shot. Maybe it's just the fact that no one really knows about them. They all, I think my uncle said earlier, they're all going off a record.
Yeah.
They're looking at the records and saying, "Oh, okay, maybe we've got a chance here. Let's push them into it."
Mm-hmm.
Instead of actually researching it and realizing that these lads have got what it takes to put it on these fighters and win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he beat him at his own game. He took him to the trenches and he beat him at his own game.
Yeah.
And you won't see that from the record. If you're just looking at
you're right there, Rhys.
You won't see that.
Yeah. But also, do you think that you see for Ponce, this is an opportunity of a lifetime for him to come over to the UK, be on Sky TV. This is like, if you're going to use a football analogy, this is like his cup final.
Yeah.
So that brings levels out of him. That brings levels out of him just for because these kids come from absolutely nothing. They don't have you see when some of our boys turn pro, they get the signing on fees, particularly if they've been on Team GB. By the time that's why I don't judge them until they get time fights in, because you need to see how hungry they are. But these kids start from absolutely nothing. Their purses will be next to nothing. So when they come over here.
Imran, you're saying you've got to shoot off, mate. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, listen, thanks for coming on, pal. I really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Yeah, nice one. Thanks for coming on, Imran.
Cheers, mate. Guys.
Come on Thursday night if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give you a message. Yeah.
Sorry, Ray, carry on.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, it's just. There's that aspect to consider as well, because these kids are really, really hungry, really hungry. They come over here, and I mean, Ponce, and as far as the other fews, didn't look nervous whatsoever. Don't get me wrong, I thought Ritson would do the job, but there was just something about it when I saw videos of Ponce thinking, this kid's no pushover, and unfortunately, it came right on the night,
Yeah, so what you're saying is they're having the carrot dangled in front of them with the golden ticket.
Basically, yeah.
And they're coming out with more of a fight than anyone's expecting.
Yeah.
I would probably agree with that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think we need to discuss what happened at the end of the fight.
Yeah, because that's split me and you, Andy.
It has, because for me, Ray,
what we on this? Go on, sorry, you were saying something, Andy.
Yeah, for me, the corner are there to do a specific job, and that is to protect their fighter. They live and breathe their fighter, don't they? And even more so with Ritson, because it's his dad in his corner. No one knows Ritson better than his corner, apart from his dad, and it's his dad that's in his corner.
But the referee ain't going to be asked about that, is it?
Yeah, but that's my whole point. That's my whole point, though, Ray. Ritson was
I know where you're going. I know where you're going, mate. I know where you're going.
Getting knocked around the ring for virtually the whole fight. You could see energy ebbing out of him. We've all said it. You know, the guy was way too good for him tonight, and the 1 minute before that last round, they said to him, "This is your last round. If you don't do something in this round, we're going to pull you out."
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So they know they know the fighter.
Yes.
And as far as I'm concerned, that's none of the referee's business. If the referee doesn't think a fighter's protecting himself, he stops a fight. If the corner think the fighter shouldn't take any more, they throw the towel in, and that's the end of the fight. The referee should not be allowed to turn around and go, "I'm sorry, I don't agree with you. I'm going to let your fighter get another beating for another minute and a half." It's not right, Ray. It's not right, mate. What would have happened if Ritson had got up that last time and he let him carry on again, and he would have been that worried about protecting his body, he wouldn't have been protecting his head. What would have happened if he'd have took a shot to the head that would have done him some serious damage? It's not right, mate.
I'll say my piece. I'll let Reese come in because we haven't had a chance to hear him, and I'll answer that question because I already know the answer to it. Reese, your views on that?
Honestly, give me back.
Really?
What an absolute joke! What referee in history do you know would pick up a towel that a corner has thrown in, throw it out the ring, and say, "Carry on, lads"?
It's not
There's
honest.
one other referee that's done that.
Yeah, I'll tell you. So if you look at Michael Katsidis when he fought Graham Hill, the referee did the same thing. Michael Katsidis was pummeling Graham Hill. Graham Hill's corner threw in the towel. Referee comes, picks it up, and chucks it back out. You got to remember, in some rules, it does say only the referee can stop the fight. Yeah. That's true. I haven't just made that up.
No,
on
I know
some rules.
Maybe
you haven't
maybe
Ray,
on some rules,
common sense has to take priority. Do you know what? Okay, I think you made a comment on WhatsApp earlier on that let's see what Cedric's got to say about this on Thursday night.
Yeah, because I'm sure. I'm sure. You know. So yeah, okay. Yeah.
Cedric's going to turn around and he's going to say the corner needs to make that decision. If that corner don't think that their fighter needs to take any more punishment to save him for another day potentially, they make that decision. That's the final decision. Not a referee that, I think we need a bit more money for entertainment for our money in this fight. Let's let it carry on a little bit more. There's not been enough blood. But
you got to remember, the referee is this close from the action.
Well, yeah, but the corner. The corner have just had him for a minute. They've just been talking to him. Less than 2 minutes earlier, they were talking to him in the corner. And they have been doing for every break between each round. They've seen him deteriorate in between those rounds.
Yeah. And then the referee wanted it to continue.
The referee's not been talking to him in between rounds for a minute.
Yeah, but the referee's there and paid to make a judgment call. So I don't think what he did was a sackable offence.
Well, maybe not, but he don't need paying for the night then, does he?
I think, he's like I said before. I've seen Mike just said it was an absolute disgrace to the sport. I absolutely disagree with that comment because there are rules that say only the referee can stop the fight. So how is he a disgrace? How is he a disgrace to the sport? Then, like I said, sometimes you don't know what he said in the dressing room.
Maybe, Ray. Maybe if I believe what you said. What you're saying, I don't know that's the rule, but I believe what you're telling me. Okay, so if that is the rule, then that's got to change because that's not healthy.
No, that's dangerous.
That's you've got to remember it's a bit like
We're talking about a really good level referee here.
Oh yeah, he's a very good referee.
He should know better.
He's a very good referee.
He should know better.
Very good referee.
Yeah, no, he is. But he should know better. That's a really poor decision he's made tonight. Really bad.
I mean, on the flip side, everyone's saying that.
Tell me, Ray, you can't tell me when you were looking at that, what he was taking in that last round, you can't tell me it didn't go through your head, he should be pulled out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you, when Davey Ritson, so that's Lewis's dad, said you got one more round, I thought he was bang on saying that.
Yeah.
I thought he was bang on saying that. So for me, when the towel came in, I thought, yeah, it should have been stopped there and then. But I wouldn't be slagging off the referee for allowing it to continue. I think what's happened is he could have allowed it to continue and Lewis might not have been down again in that round. But what happened was Lewis took a lot more punishment.
That was the only way it was going to go, though, Ray.
I mean, we've all just been saying how he's beating.
Fair enough, right? If it had been that he took an heavy shot, but for the rest of that round and for the rest of the fight, it was really even. But he took a really heavy shot and went down in the corner. Went, hold on, that shot was too heavy. I don't want him to take anymore. But the referee let him stand up, saw he was clear, and let him carry on. I can understand that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like that, was it? The referee's got to think about what the rest of the fight was about and how.
And
how Ritson was behaving. Because the round before that, Ritson turned his back, and the referee actually went into the corner and said, "You can't be turning your back and not defending yourself." But then he lets him carry on fighting after he's gone down twice. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, Ray. It really don't, mate.
I mean, I see it. You know, I'm not going to sit and tell lies. I mean, I guess where I'm coming from is what he's done. It's not unheard of, and B, depending on what is said in the dressing room and depending on what the rules are, because on some of the governing bodies, it does say only the referee can stop the fight. But I'm not going to lie to you, the 2 years, because you know I'm like,
yeah.
I agree with Davey Ritson. You know, it's his son at the end of the day. He knows himself how massive an opportunity it is for his son, sure. How massive a payday it is, not just for Lewis, but for the Northeast boxers. Lewis loses tonight, Matchroom, DAZN, ain't coming back to Newcastle again.
No, not for a while.
So they've got all that pressure. So he could have easily thought, "Oh, we'll just go to 12 rounds. We've lost this fight. Let's just get to 12 rounds." So the fact that he was brave enough to say, "I'm giving you one more round, mate," to his son, you can't but respect that.
Yeah.
You know. So when the towel came in, I thought, yeah, fair enough. If it was me, if I was in that corner without throwing it in, probably not. I would have probably waited on. But that's because I would have been thinking of other things, and I would have been thinking Lewis can probably still come through. Lewis, for me, he was losing badly, but he wasn't completely done.
His only chance of winning would have been a knockout, though, wouldn't it? By that point,
yeah.
Indeed, I'm not convinced that he had enough left in him to do that. But
it can come from anywhere, knockouts, all that's a thing.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, I know you and Carl were saying Ponce could be tiring, or Ponce's tiring, but But
he wasn't there, was he?
No. That's what I was saying in the chat. The kid was, you know, what he reminded me of, and I say this to you and Reese, he reminded the people in the chat, he reminded me of a bigger Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
He was just volume, but he just kept, he was like a Duracell bunny, would just go on all night. You know? But yeah, it's, I guess it's because after the referees made that decision, Lewis has went on to take even more punishment. So yeah.
I guess
that towel that went in, realistically, it was never really gonna start defending properly, was it?
No, and I think that's the first rule of boxing. like the teacher. You know, you got to defend yourselves at all times. But Lewis was fighting fire with fire. I mean, after the first knockdown, he was he had a little bit of an exchange with Ponce, didn't he? And he caught him, but Ponce just walked through it, and then he went down, and then he went down for the third time. The third time was really bad, really bad. You know, he like even in the dressing room, he was still feeling the effects of it.
Yeah,
you could see he was keeled over.
This is my point. He didn't need to take that. That's kind of my point. I think. Wait, let's move on slightly. I want to talk about.
Just you were saying something there.
Go on, sorry, Reese.
I was just going to say that allowing something like that to happen is setting a dangerous precedent.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate.
Allowing, if that's allowed,
I've never seen it before. Ray's seen it in another fight. I've never seen it, and I wouldn't want to see it again. There's been times when corners have thrown the towel in too soon, and I've thought, what are you doing that for? Yeah. And there's been times when fighters are taking way too much punishment, and the corner's not throwing the towel in at all. And I think, and then I'll be jumping on the corner. Then, you know, you ought to know better. You know, as a corner team, you should know better. You should know your fighter better. They did the exact right thing tonight, and the referee ignored it. And I just don't think it's right.
Can I just say one thing? Sorry, Reese, just before we go. Apparently, my good friend Imran Mohammed just sent me a message. The ref's gone into Ritson's dressing room and explained his decision.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I'm not seeing it. My good pal Imran just sent me a message just to say that. So I just thought I'd air it. Probably something that we need to check out at one point.
Just before we go, lads, I don't know whether you saw it partway through the fight. It was announced that Kirtland Lang had passed away.
Oh yeah. That was earlier on in the week. Yeah, sadly.
So I hadn't heard about it. Kirtland Lang, obviously Nottingham lad. I just wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about him as a fighter, his career and stuff. I know Carl, Kirtland's brothers, trains down at Carl's gym.
Oh.
Carl sees him quite regular. So I thought it'd be right to take a little bit of time. So Kirtland, he had about a 20-year career. Had 56 fights, won 43, lost 12, drew 1. I think he made British champion. Absolute diamond of a fighter. Did you ever see him, Ray?
No, unfortunately, I never saw him fought, or I'm caught up wearing his fights on YouTube. No,
he was great, so skillful, proper quality. We've lost a real gem there. Don't want to leave the show on a bit of a downer, but rest in peace, Kirtland.
Yeah, and you know my dad's a big fan of him, so I know he must be a good fighter. My dad likes him because he really knows his stuff. But yeah, it's another one gone. But may you rest in perfect peace.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that we've done that to death. So I think we'll close it off there, lads. Great talking again, and everyone, please tune in Thursday, 9:00 as usual. We always do a live show Thursday night. Everyone, come on, have the say. Get yourself on screen if you're feeling brave enough. Everyone's opinion counts. Don't matter how much you know about boxing or how little you know about boxing. Everyone's got an opinion, and that's what this show's all about.
Thanks to everyone in the comments. Thanks to Reese joining us. Nice to see your face again, pal. And thanks to Imran as well, who came on camera, and Imran Mohammed in the chat. We've had Michael O on and a few others. So thank you very much for contributing to this.
I need to apologise to Imran that came on screen. I got a bit mixed up. I thought it was him that was saying he had to go.
No. It was, it was.
So apologies, Imran. I hope I didn't make you leave before you meant to. Hopefully not, mate. Anyway, but come on Thursday night.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see you again on Thursday if you can make it, Reese.
Yeah, should be. Yeah.
Great stuff. See you all soon.
See you. Take care.